Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Nothing big to announce today. What? Our Kickstarter has launched.
Whoop, whoop.
Make your way over keithandthegirl.com/kick, K-I-C-K. Check out the pictures of Chemda and me when we were 17. Check out the video. Check out the rewards. We're very excited. How excited
it's 17.
are you?
Yeah, the theme is 17. We're about to hit 17 years in podcasting. So we have a 17 theme going on.
If the Kickstarter gets funded, we will run another 24-hour comedy marathon. Always a blast. An exclusive silent trailers for all Kickstarter supporters. And of course, more. Be part of keeping Keith and the Girl show going. Go to keithandthegirl.com/kick now. Some rewards have limited options, so grab the one you want as soon as you can. And thank you for supporting our Kickstarter campaign and the Keith and the Girl show in general. We appreciate it very much. All right. Today's guest is a new, brand new special out. Who doesn't love his albums? We're going to ask him. People got to write him and say something, right? The new special is called Show Your Work. You can find it on Apple TV, Amazon, all these platforms. I asked him, now we start asking the guests in an email, hey, what credits should we mention? Make sure we don't miss anything, this kind of thing. He writes, credits, Keith's Wet Dreams. Can you imagine? Can you? And then legally I have to read it because it's humiliating. Christian Finnegan.
I don't remember writing that. That's how like just flippantly the gold just flies off. Like I just what a vessel for the muse I am that I don't even remember writing that hilarious joke to you.
Other info we should or could know for the show about you. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right. So now we're caught up and we'll go from there. Christian's a huge fan of music. He can probably play the Name That Tune songs in three notes, right? Are you excited that there's a new ABBA album, the real band ABBA, after 40 years? This album must be great, right? To take a risk like that.
Well, sure. I mean, anytime four people in their 70s put out an album, it's going to be great. That's generally the rule, right? I feel like I kind of missed ABBA slightly. I think when we were growing up, how old are you? I'm 48. How old are you?
Same. 47.
Okay, yeah. I feel like we are like right in that pocket that kind of ABBA was like a punchline for. Like, right. You know what I mean? When people loved ABBA in the 70s, and then by the time the 90s came around, there was sort of this cultural revisiting of ABBA. ABBA.
Actually,
I never know how to say it.
I think you're right, because the way I learned about ABBA is somebody told a joke, and I was like, oh, I better look that band up, because it seems to be so popular, but everyone just uses it as a joke.
Yeah,
That's the memory.
There's been like a real critical reassessment of that band to the extent that now they're thought of as being like one of the greatest bands ever. Right. But it wasn't like that when I was a kid.
I wonder if they came back like in that irony listening, like this is so kooky and we're getting dressed up, and then all of a sudden there's a movie only using these, like basically using the lyrics as a script somehow. I don't know.
It's called a jukebox musical, Chemda.
Okay. Well,
do you remember
do you remember
in the West Village there's that place called Polyesters in the 90s? It was it was a club, like a restaurant club that had like a 70s theme, which at the time felt very kind of, it didn't feel played out at the time. It felt like, ooh, this is a kind of a cute little place. Like that was sort of the gimmick, because you'd go in there and everybody be wearing like all those servers would be wearing like bell bottoms, and they'd play like 70s music, and they have 70s movies on screens and stuff.
Oh, I was busy in the 90s wearing bell bottoms for real.
Yeah, because there was that sort of
life.
Like when like D-Light came was really popular and stuff like that. There was kind of re-embracing of disco culture or whatever. And so I think ABBA kind of started to get a toehold in that world, where it was like, we're kind of making fun of it, but we kind of love it. Kind of the way Journey then became for like a little later. Like I'm sort of making fun of Don't Stop Believing, but I also kind of love the song, like that sort of vibe.
Keith, does that answer your question?
It'd be interesting if the new album is like new metal.
Yeah.
Just take a chance. Like that was good then, looking back, but
We're really influenced by Papa Roach. And,
when a new album comes out, I have to. Do you guys have to do this? If I'm
probably not.
You get naked, right? You shave your balls, right?
Yep.
You following me? No, I have to be by myself with headphones, no disturbances. I can't just put the new Limp Bizkit on speaker. Do you need to be sequestered like that? When
I have to be sequestered if I listen to Limp Bizkit.
Sure.
Well, just because you're loving it too much, you don't want to freak people out about how into it you are.
Yeah, everyone's masturbating while they're listening to Limp Bizkit, right?
Well, of course. I mean, that's what Limp Bizkit is. It's like post-masturbation.
That's what doing it for the nookie means. Hello.
Yes.
I'll start a song over if it's interrupted. I get into it.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah, I'll be like, Christian, you ruined everything. And he's like, dude, we're taking a walk in the park. And I'm like, still, shut up.
And how does this relate to you shaving your balls?
I'll tell you how it relates to me shaving my balls. Thanks for asking. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped is my shower time routine. And nothing's been, my life hasn't been better. That's the truth. Manscaped, redefine the way you shave your nuts. And they're fantastic. You know, if I like my woman to be clean, I think I should be clean. That's fair. No problem. The grooming game has been changed with the Performance Package 4.0. That's how disgusting men are. They're at 4.0. Inside the package, you'll find their lawnmower. Jesus, man. Weed whacker.
Calling you.
Yeah. Weed whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Holy shit. Crop preserver ball deodorant. Splash that on or roll it on, whatever it is. Fiver toner. Performance boxer briefs. Let me tell you something. You're like, Keith, they're just break. They aren't. I keep them on during sex. They are performance boxer briefs. And the travel bags. You're not fumbling around. I remember I used to be at the airport and I'd be like, hi, I'm here with my, oh God. Now I put it all in a bag and I can put it right through the scanner. No problem.
Because God forbid you check that. That needs to be a carry-on.
4,000 K.
You never know when you're mid-flight and you're feeling a little overly hairy down there.
Yeah, there's a 4,000.
You want to arrive fresh.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know how you've seen this? You get off the flight, you use the bathroom, you see people brushing their teeth, putting on deodorant. I shave my balls real quick. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, you have no idea how many times I've had to sweep away someone's pubes in the bathroom stall floor before when I get to my destination. Yeah,
you don't got to mess around with this, though, because it's so small and compact. You just lift the leg over the toilet. Zip, 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 zip. Done. You're not being an asshole to the public, and you're smooth. And they're like, that was a 6-hour flight. How are you so cool down there? I'm like, don't worry about it, sweetheart. You know. It also has, get this, a 4,000K LED spotlight. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does that mean? 40 million? I don't know. But I know it does a spotlight on my balls that just makes the whole thing fun.
Isn't that what all guys want? Is a spotlight on their balls?
Well, sometimes, honestly, sometimes you gotta shave in the middle of the night and all the lights are off. You don't want to wake up anybody. And you're like, let me get a little, this has a light. I can see, and then surprise her when I get back to bed.
Man, I cannot see what I am doing right now.
And she's like, honey, how are you so smooth down there? You were just in bed with me. And I'm like, don't worry about it, baby. You know? And we're back. So it's good anytime. Get 20% off plus free shipping. Free what? Holy cow. With everything I just mentioned, I'd be like, we'll give you free on half of it, but 20% on the other. You know, no. 20% off everything. Free shipping with the code KATG at manscaped.com because it's already gone. You know what I mean? You're not even manscaped. As soon as you turn it on, you're done, basically. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code KATG at manscaped.com. Keep your balls trimmed, fresh, and clean with Manscaped. Anytime I get into an argument with my girlfriend, you know what I do to solve it? Would you rather be right? Would you rather be happy? I shave my balls. Boom. We're back.
Something to shave the words, I'm right, you're wrong. And
you can do calligraphy and whatnot.
Discovers it on her own. She's like, well, he brings up a good point.
And then you both sign somehow.
You know, when I had my my heart surgery in May.
I'm sorry to hear that. Did you make it?
I'm not.
You're not?
No, you had it You're
that it was
good
successful.
now.
You mean?
Yeah.
Yes. They shaved my pubes before my surgery, which I found curious because
do they know where the heart is?
Well, yeah, I don't know how your body is laid out, but my pubes are about 2 feet from my heart.
Right.
But the worst part is they didn't even shave all of it. They just shaved the top, but left like a bushy underball fro, which was a weird look because it took a few weeks. It took a long time. My junk looked like a Russian novelist.
It's funny that they don't ask you to do. Before my open heart surgery, I buzzed down there for sure because you're entering naked. They're gonna put a catheter in, so I don't need them looking around. I'll find it.
I was gonna say I visited.
You're the first person. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying I visited a friend recently in the hospital, and I brought my Lawn Destroyer 4.0 just in case.
Just in case,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith, I'm not sure I'm gonna make it. Please
I gotcha. I don't want you to look like an asshole, right?
Don't make me die with hairy balls. Chemda, I don't think I've really spoken to you in depth about this, but how long did it take you to be able to sneeze without it fucking ruining your day?
At least a couple months.
It's still. I'm 6 months out now, and it's still a huge bummer when I
especially
sneeze.
When they tell you that you're glued shut. You don't have those. You don't have the stitches they used to have when they sew you shut, and you feel a little more confident. They're like, yeah, and we super glued it, and I'm like the super glue, and they're like, isn't that cool? And I'm like, yeah, it is, but you hold the pillow close to you and you sneeze as if like that's gonna not let your whole body tear apart from glue.
And what's cool about glue? Glue doesn't hold my glasses together, but I guess my chest is fine. Okay. What they have to do with you? Little open up arteries or what?
Just kind of bored. You want to see what's going on in there?
Yeah.
Cambria was like, he has no heart, and I dare you to find it.
Right. Yes, my lack of heart is well established at this point in my career. I had an aortic aneurysm, which basically just means that my heart itself was fine. I was told I have the heart of an 18-year-old, but the aorta is like the tube that comes out of the top of your heart, and mine was mysteriously getting larger, which happens. A few people, like Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent, died from a ruptured aorta. And it's the kind of thing where once it starts getting bigger, if it ruptures or dissects, which is the word they use, you're dead. Like, even if it happens in the hospital, like, you're probably dead. And so mine hadn't gotten that big yet, but the dude was just like, listen, you have to get this surgery. There's no benefit in waiting. So do it. And so
they're
I
so
actually
convincing.
I feel kind of lucky that I did it. I mean, on the downside, like, I did it. I missed the whole COVID interregnum, that spring where everybody was like happy and having a great time for 3 months before Delta shut everything down again. Okay. Like, I spent that time recovering, or about to go into surgery or recovering from surgery. But in another sense, it was like so fortunate because I would not have wanted to go into the hospital at either of the sort of COVID peaks. And so I kind of like dodged raindrops.
I also think you're completely overestimating how happy everybody was to be out.
I just know that first few months at QED, when things opened up again, there was about 2 months where every show was packed and people like once the vaccines, had really hit, most of the people that come to QED are not assholes. And so they had gotten vaccinated right away. And there was just like a real kind of joyful, it's so fun to be out again vibe.
And it's nice that you changed the awning. It says QED, and right under it, most of the people who come in here are not assholes. And I think that's very welcoming.
Yeah, we have a little sign that says like blank days since someone was an asshole here. And and then every time Keith comes, we have to reset it to 0.
You son of a, you got me again. Oh boy. Was when your heart problem or your artery problem, is that related to how your brother passed away?
No,
is that a big concern?
It's a completely different thing. My younger brother passed away because he had what they call transposition of the major arteries, which basically means the two main tubes were going in the wrong way, and then he also had a congenital heart disease, and so he had a heart transplant when he was 8. And then passed away when he was 19. My older brother just had a heart attack, just a heart attack. And and then my mom actually had kind of similar. She had valve replacement and died having valve replacement surgery, which was sort of similar to because mine was like right at the valve. It's a lot.
You have to always be looking at your heart, the valves, because these are all heart rate.
Close enough to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really should have been a little more on top of it beforehand, but I don't know that I would have known.
I wasn't saying you can do better. What the fuck?
I heard it as a scold.
No, I was saying it looks
you
like
really have to be watching your heart.
Will your wife bring it up sometimes, like you're eating steak or having candy? Like, baby, it's in the family. It's a different thing.
I was so hoping. I really was hoping that the surgeon was going to tell me, like, you got to change your life, man. Like, from now on, it's just salmon and grilled chicken and no more drinking. And he was like, no, that's nothing to do. Like, you had a genetic defect. Like, your heart's fine, your arteries are fine. And he's like, I mean, you should do those things. You should do them, but it's nothing to do with your surgery. It's like, well, then that means I'm not going to do any of those things.
Right. If it's not on top of your priority list, doctor.
Yeah. I need a gun to my head. And but it does feel really weird to be around people and, like, hey, so how are you recovering from your heart surgery? I'm like, oh, great. Hey, can I get another beer, please? Like, I can see the look on their face. Like, this guy has a death wish.
That one's on me. I mean, pay double. I mean, fuck. You know what? Help yourself. I'm going to the bathroom.
But
you come behind the bar. Congrats on your new album. Show your
Thank
work,
you, sir.
How exciting is this time? How are you celebrating?
Well, it's my 5th time kind of being through this, and
yawn. 5th time. I didn't know we talked about this 4 other times.
No, I think you are jumping the gun on what you think I was going to say.
Yeah,
what was I going to say?
But we were having fun.
Tell me, what was I saying?
Sorry, I was trying to have some fun. I apologize. You really should finish
Stop
your sentence
having fun
so that I can accurately make fun of you.
Yes, there will be ample opportunity to accurately make fun of me. Anyway, what I was going to say is, I am well used to the sort of postpartum feeling of like a week or 2 after something comes out, where you have this like, is that all there is feeling, because you're so excited for this to sort of birth this thing, and you spent so much time trying to make it happen, and then when it comes out, there's like a week or 2 of sort of frantic tweeting and promoting and doing podcasts and stuff like that. But then at a certain point that starts to ebb. There's still like, it's still working its way through the system. Like, it's hopefully people are buying it, enjoying it, and things like that. But you, as the person who created it, your work is kind of done at a certain point. And that I found that to be a very depression-inducing feeling the first couple times that I went through this.
And that's how Christian celebrates. Keith, how do you celebrate after your album?
I get what he's saying. It gets to a point where your world isn't all about that project anymore. And you're like, well, it's only been 2 months.
Your job is over. As now it's time for the algorithm to take over.
See, this is perfect, because right after every big goal or every big project, right after I go, oh my God, Keith, next time we should. And he sounds exhausted.
Well, that's
and
different.
I'm like, this is what you want. You don't want it to be over. Let's start again.
Yeah, but I mean, that night I'm good, Chemda. That night I'm fine.
But this one was a little different, just in the sense that it was something that I created with Victor Varnado and Steve Rosenthal, my 2 friends. And it was kind of just something we did on our own on spec and then sold to a distributor, as opposed to sort of, having a deal with somebody. And so we edited ourselves. Like it's much more of kind of our own personal little project. I guess like in the hip hop world, I would compare it more to a mixtape than like an album. Do you know what I mean?
I listen to it normal like an album, just so you know.
I know. I've always been a little foggy on the distinction, but I think it's a little more personal, and I think if people have had the time to see it, it's like 80% a stand-up set and 20% a little mini doc, just about trying to keep a venue afloat and also your spirits afloat during the pandemic.
On the album, you talk about arguments that you get in with your wife, and you bring up an example.
So you've only listened to the album, right? You haven't actually watched the special,
right? Because I need it first time I hear it. I gotta be with my headphones. No one can bother me.
Well, the only reason I ask is because the special actually, like, none of the doc elements are on the album. Like there's like documentary elements to the special that aren't on the album is just obviously the stand up, whereas the special has more to it. So
exciting.
Yeah, and I hope that I mean, listen to it, watch it, do whatever you want, but yeah, I would say that it's a slightly different experience watching it than seeing it, listening to it. I would say.
Good.
That's all.
I already enjoyed myself. I might as well have another good time. Yeah. I love it. No, I did the right thing. I'm getting double the fun than anybody else. But I was going to say, on the album, you talk about that'd be funny. You talk about an argument with your wife, but in the special video, you guys were pals the whole time. But anyway,
it is.
Yeah, you talked, for example, about how she likes to start arguments and fights, and you said basically, I know we had a conversation about when who's gonna walk the dog next, and then in real life, you act like that didn't happen. You're gonna come after me because you decided you have the time to do it, and you wonder, do I have the time to do it? When you said that, Camber, your wife, was there at QED, right?
Yeah.
And also, can you explain what Keith just said?
Yeah, it was not particularly a stunning rendition of the bit, but
that's close. Well, I only heard it.
I mean, I am of the opinion that everyone is full of shit, and that being a liar is not necessarily mean that you're like, you can be an incredibly honest person but still be full of shit, which is how I would describe Cambry. And how I would describe everybody. Like in the example I use is that she hates my driving, and that she, in order to let me know how much she hates my driving, every time I have to hit the brake, she turns into a crash test dummy and like flops around the car and like acts like it's some major car accident. Now, she's not lying, but she's full of shit. But the bit you were talking about, well, just that she can argue longer than I can, and she knows that. Like that she's a bit of a time bully. That she knows that I won't make 3 hours for an argument, even if I know that I'm right. Whereas she can and will do that, and then she uses that to sort of bully me into rhetorical submission. And so I say it in front of her because she knows, and she likes it on some level. She's like, yeah, I do bully you, you little bitch.
Is that the first time she heard that?
No, I'm sure she must have heard that bit at some point.
You think he was holding on to rhetorical bully? Come on.
Yeah. I wouldn't say anything. Cambry's actually super great about, her whole opinion is if other people are laughing, it must be universal, and therefore I'm not offended by it. Like if I tell a joke about her and nobody laughs, then she's like, all right, well, clearly this is your issue because
That's
nobody
a nice
else
gauge.
is relating to it. Yeah.
Has that ever happened?
Yeah, a couple times.
Like what?
I can't think of anything now.
That's smart, right?
Yeah, it's very smart. You know when your wife won't let you shave your balls under the covers? I don't know. I can't think of a good one. I'm sorry. I'm having performance anxiety.
No problem.
It happens to everyone.
I just want, like, when you talk about, for example, Christmas gifts, she gives a gift, and if it's, you don't really like it, but you still know how to put on that face. My point is, I wonder if you would think, hey, let me run this by her before I run it on stage. But the answer, I guess, is no.
No, generally speaking, she's like I said, she's super cool about kind of trusting me on that. Like, I know what things to not talk about on stage. I mean, I do think that I'm not one of those people who's like, everything is fair game, man. You are under the microscope when you're married to this guy, this social scientist.
Right.
But
I really don't. But I don't know. When
well, you have to fill more time. You're a podcaster. You're a broadcaster, essentially. Do you know what I mean? So you're talking extemporaneously for long periods of time. I'm writing jokes for the most part.
Do you ever find this with your jokes? When I podcast, sometimes I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't say this. Is pushing it. It's not the worst thing, but I'm gonna say it anyway. That never get in trouble for that stuff. I get in trouble for something totally innocuous. I didn't see it coming. It probably even included the word love. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't even know how to apologize. I never could have saw this coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also years help. I mean, how long have you and Kyle been together?
3.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, we've been together for 18.
Yeah, but when do you keep learning shit every year?
No, but I do think you're a little bit, you know where the landmines are. A little better,
right? Well, I do.
Know what I mean?
Like I know, don't talk about anything unless it was solved.
Oh,
that's something I learned.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one, huh? What's it like to solve things?
I just talk about things less.
I'm more of the mind of just like, I guess this is what this is.
Right.
I guess I'll adjust to this reality.
Right. but yeah, it would, you know what, an argument, like speaking of your album again, it would drive me crazy, not to be dramatic and say the word gaslit, but when facts are changed or something that obviously happened is changed, that does drive me crazy. Speaking of animals, I remember dating my ex and we had an argument about dog walking. And, we said, okay, I'm not really a morning person. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get up in the morning. We'll walk the dog together. This is going to help our relationship and blah, blah, blah. The next morning, she goes, can you walk the dog? I'm like, yeah, but in the mornings, were we all both going to walk the dog? Wow, you can't. I'm doing this and this and this. You can't even walk the dog. I'm like, that's not the fucking
sucker.
Of course I can walk the fucking dog.
You're already walking the dog. I'm busy. Right. So you totally ceded ground. Yeah, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about, Keith. That's these women, man. These women.
I'm texting her right now. I hope you're well. I've learned you were full of shit, but in a funny way. # show your work. Okay.
No, Cambry, her, as I've talked about ad nauseum, her dad was in prison for attempted murder, and he was one of those guys who was like a liar, but in a way that he would have passed a lie detector test because he believed his crap so much. Like, he cut a woman's throat and stabbed her either 5 or 8 times. I always get mixed up. But he had hit the story he told about it is that she had cut her own throat to spite him, and that when he's pulling the knife away from her, she got stabbed a few times. Like that happens.
Right.
But he genuinely, truly believed that. And he, in a lot of things, and I think in prison that's very common, of like, almost like prisoners, they have to believe each other's bullshit, because it's like, if you call me on my shit, then I have to call you on your shit, et cetera, and so forth. And Cambry would like acknowledge that all the time. And it's like, so you acknowledge that your dad does this thing, and you don't believe that you absorbed any of that?
Oh my God. Wow. That's where you put the line? Holy shit.
But I'm just saying, it's like, not only do you know someone who can convince themselves that things happen differently than actually happened.
Oh my God, just call me a bitch. Don't do that.
I'm also not a murderer, you piece of shit.
I'm not saying he's a murderer, but I'm just saying it's like you don't think it's even possible that you remember our conversation about dog walking slightly different than it happened? Like, you don't think that's even slightly a possibility? Because when I forget stuff, it's because I'm not listening, I'm not paying attention. That's why I don't remember the way things were. And again, she knows that, and so she knows that if she has a story and is rock solid on it, I can't compete with that, because chances are I did probably fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, if she's like, no, we absolutely agreed you were going to walk the dogs, I at a certain point have to be like, you're probably right, because I'm an idiot and I forget these things.
17, 18 years. Do you see a look in her eye when she's full of shit?
Oh, well, no, but I see a look in her eye when I know that, oh shit, this is now a thing.
Okay. Like, I've had arguments.
This has stopped being a squabble, and now it's a thing.
I've had arguments with Kyle, and then you see like a smirk on her face, and that means she doesn't believe what's going on.
That is priceless. Those rare times where that happens.
That's better than her saying you're right.
Yeah.
Would they say to you guys that they know when something's going on based on your face? Does it happen?
I am honest mostly by default because I am a very bad liar. Because again, I forget things. Like there's no way I would be able to keep a lie consistent, like any sort of long. I could never have an affair. Like I could never conduct an affair. There's no chance I would be able to get.
I don't know how people are doing it. Sometimes I'm like, so we're in New York City. The apartments are small, and the technology says everything, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm pressing this button and it's not working. The first thing Xerxes does is takes my computer and looks inside of it. Now, if you're getting bloops from like this person or like, an email comes in or whatever, or oh, let me look in your hard drive. Now you have that folder of whatever. Like, I don't know how people are hiding anything.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you start panicking as soon as somebody touches your computer?
I think people do. I mean, I certainly did for the first few months of my relationship with Cambry, because mostly just like, oh, she's going to see I look at porn or whatever, but which happened. She started typing something into my search bar and like some, address filled in, and I was like, no, boy.
I feel like we assume that that's a thing that's happening.
But that was before like incognito mode was a thing. I feel like how many relationships is incognito mode saved? Because it's like we can have this sort of understanding, like you look at pornography or whatever, I look at pornography, but we don't have to have it thrust in each other's faces, so to speak.
Ew, thrust.
I have Apple TV, and all of a sudden one day, all the pictures from my phone started showing on my TV set. I'm like, all right, it's a good day to be decent. Right. Because if you take my ex, one of the ways that I found out is because these certain pictures come up, or the certain app comes up, or an entire email that I'm not familiar with comes up. Like this is all very digital, very just right there. I don't know how you cover
and the
that.
older you are, the less risk you can really afford to take. There was Dean Norris is. Yes. He played Hank on Breaking Bad. Okay. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
I know of Breaking Bad.
The bald dude. He's been in 100 movies that you've seen. Right. But at one point he had just tweeted sex gifs. Just that. Like just XEX.
Oh, wow. He does seem like an idiot.
Tweet. Yeah. And so clearly he was trying to search for sex gifs, I guess, but didn't fully understand what he was doing and hit send on it. And so it's just one of those things that every once in a while somebody will like, hey, remember this one? Right. But that's,
I agree with you there, but I think younger people would be caught because they don't remember things like, I can undo your trash. I can fill in this website. I can go old school on some stuff that you don't really understand because you don't even know what a URL really is anymore. You don't know what attaching, like I've had conversations with the next generation where they're like, this link is not working. I'm like, are you reading the link? That's not an address to them.
Interesting.
They don't know that the slash is for this and this is for that. And one letter off could throw it off, or one letter off could like take you to a page that's completely different or associated. It's that they forget. Yeah.
Encyclopedia Brown over here.
Well, I have to catch people cheating, Christian.
That's very important.
I turned into investigator.
And that's how
book.
Can we cut to Xerxes right now? And he's just like, good boy.
He's throwing a computer in the trash, literal trash.
He's literally got like a bucket of bleach, just pouring it on his laptop.
He's throwing the phone in the toilet.
And that's true. You know what love is now? He took my finger and this is going in a much less sexy direction than it sounds like. He took my finger and put it on his phone so that his phone recognizes my finger. And it's like, and that's when I said, I love you for the first, no, but it's
Wait, on both of his phones or just the one that you're aware of?
He's a flip phone for nostalgia's sake, but are there, in your relationships, are there trigger words that your wife for example, could say, or phrases, other than you saying, "Hey, you remind me of your murderous dad." Do you guys have things that is going to set the other person off?
I didn't say she reminded me of her murderous dad.
Right.
She might have some of that in her naturally, biologically.
Right.
I'm just saying, it is possible for people to convince themselves that something happened in a different way than actually happened.
Especially if your father tried to get away with murder.
And if you don't cap it at dog lies,
so fucked.
You're going to be on the street chopping off necks. But they'll do it themselves. Let me guess. All right, I'm going to bed. No, fuck you.
What was the question?
Are there any, do you guys have trigger words or phrases? Yeah. We all have things that bother us. Before the show started, Christian was saying, I forget how it came up. He's like, when somebody says, I appreciate you, I hate it. Because why? Because it adds so much gravitas to their opinion.
It implies that your appreciation is of such paramount importance to me that my day is going to be made by the fact that you have deigned to appreciate me.
How do you turn everything people say to you into the worst case scenario?
It's not the worst case scenario. I'm just perceiving it properly, and everybody else is just too into sort of new cool buzzwords and are not actually thinking about what they actually are saying.
Okay.
I understand.
First of all, it's like the word to your mother of this generation. It's just like this corny thing that people started saying about 3 years ago out of nowhere. Appreciate you.
I hate you're welcome. I hate the old school you're welcome. Thank you, yes. But you hold the door open, or somebody holds the door open for me, and I go, thank you. And they go, you're welcome. And I'm like, well, easy. It would have been fine without you.
You know what's good?
And so I won't even say it. When I was a waiter, people would say thank you. And I go, oh, of course. I don't
of course.
You're welcome.
Of course. Sure thing. Yeah. No problem.
Anytime.
Anytime. What's a good one that I want to incorporate into my vocabulary and just can't spit it out every time? Somebody, oh, thank you. My pleasure. I'm like,
yeah.
I can't. Those words, they sound like, and I hope you manscape because I will lick your balls later. My pleasure. Is it that's how good it is? It's my pleasure.
When I hold the door for somebody, I go, my pleasure.
They go,
that sound good?
They say thank you. I say your happiness is my life.
They say thank you. I go, I'm codependent. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. I need this.
Oh, the thank you fight is the worst, though. Thank you. No, thank you. For what? Now we have to fill in for what?
Yeah.
We're going to have a thank you war. No, thank you. No, really, thank you. No, really, thank you. Sure thing. My pleasure. Get out the vibrator.
It's like pretending to fight over the check, and then you end up stuck with it eventually. It's a thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome.
the old Bugs Bunny trick.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to you. Give it to you.
Did you vote this time around, Christian Finnegan, just the other day?
Not only did I vote, I voted for my wife, who was running for town council in Coshocton, New York.
Okay, and how'd it go? I remember seeing this. I did a little retweet.
Dude, I really sound like a wife guy tonight, don't I? Which is
we know Twitter you're married.
I know, but it's just like there's a certain breed of guy who they kind of almost their personal brand is how much they love their wife. And
you sound like that's not you.
No. Yeah, you sound like you love her so much, Christian. Yeah, if I have a thought on her, I'll say it on stage. She was there. Yeah, you look like a regular cuck. My God.
I believe the word is simp now. But no, what
she tells me.
Yeah, no, we were spending a lot of time up. We have this little cabin up in Sullivan County, New York, and we had spent a lot of time up there during the pandemic, and Cambry started getting involved in local politics and stuff like that. And so the Democratic establishment of Coshocton, New York, which is 4 elderly nose pickers. Okay. That's overstating it. They're very nice people, but it's like it's a very red town. It's a very red area. But the people, the very nice people who are part of the Democratic Club in Coshocton kind of convinced Cambry to run for office because a couple of the Republicans were running unopposed. And so Cambry kind of was curious about whether she'd enjoy doing that. And so she jumped in with full aplomb. And so I've spent like the last... Honestly, that was another reason that my special coming out wasn't as life dominating as it might have been, because I spent like the past 2 weeks driving her around while she like knocked on doors and like met voters and stuff like that and putting out road signs and crap like that.
Wow, that's
does she like doing that? That it seems like that's what you got to do, the literal handshaking. Does she like it?
Honestly, that's the part that she liked the most. It actually made me understand why politicians on some level are the way they are. That it's like, of course you want to go out, because when you go out and you're knocking on doors, at least you're like interacting with real people. And it's not all just because it's not all like cheesy, phony stuff. It's like you're actually talking to people and hearing what they actually care about. And it feels more like public service as opposed to some of the more drudgery of, going on spreadsheets and going through voter rolls and, sitting behind a laptop, which is.
But don't we know what we all care about?
No.
You care about safety, you care about the other thing.
You'd be surprised, but I'm saying it's like for someone like Cambry, she's a very social person, and so she's very charming, and people enjoy meeting her, and so I think she got a lot out of that. And it was.
Christian. She should have just called Keith up. He knows exactly what everybody wants.
I could have said,
of course, yes.
They want safety, they want the other thing,
etc.
Safety and the other thing. The most important things to me are safety and the other thing. That is what I am concerned with as a constituent. But anyway, there's still some absentee votes to be counted, and they're just theoretical that she could pull it out. But it looks so far she's down by 14 votes, and it's a small town, so you're only talking about a few hundred people. But there are 4 people
find
running
some?
for 2. Yeah, could
you?
You
To find some? Yeah,
you're gonna be my Joe Kennedy. But the two dudes, it's like I said, it's a very red town, and obviously it was a very Republican year, and the 2 Republicans won and the 2 Democrats lost, and the 2 guys who won, the guy who came in first place, his last name is literally the name of one of the main roads in town. Like his family's been there for like 10 generations, and the other guy, his dad owns like one of the biggest businesses in town, and it's such a big deal up there, like who's your family, how long have you lived here, like all that stuff. Right. And so she actually like exceeded expectations, and it went super well, and she might actually run for a larger office in the future. And
it doesn't hurt her at all? Like,
no.
How long has your family been here? We have a cabin.
Yeah. That definitely hurt her, 100%. Okay. I mean, there definitely was like, oh, you're one of those city people, because there's a lot of people like weekenders up there, and when you get.
Why do you think he said we have a small cabin? They will never say they have a cabin. It is always a small.
Right.
What are you
just to be humble? She's saying,
you heard me.
She didn't say anything bad.
I did hear you. I know exactly what you're saying. And you're
I get it. I totally understand it. People.
It's a 1-bedroom cabin. It is a 1-bedroom.
I don't have a bedroom in my no bedroom home. Just stick to small cabin.
It's petite. No, but it's lovely, and
anything nefarious happen? Any car wires getting cut? I see movies. I see TV.
Not yet. I think if she had won, there might have been a little bit of consternation, because again, she's this outsider and a new face, and kind of coming in, and who's this city lady, this Democrat. But yeah,
does she have to live in this area? Does she have to live in this area, and what would her job have been?
No, she would not have. I mean, well, she right now she's kind of living there like 60-40. She's up there Sunday through Wednesday, and then Thursday morning she drives back to the city and spends Thursday, Friday, Saturday in New York at QED. And then the rest of it, because QED's closed Mondays and Tuesdays right now, and Wednesdays are super chill. And so, but anyway, she would have to be up there. There's like, once you actually are in office, it's like a meeting once a month, a town meeting, and then a lot of online stuff. And there probably would be times where she'd have to drive up, and that's only 2 hours.
You think this is hot, I think, right? Like, this is exciting.
I think it's super exciting, and I think she's super fucking good at it. And I say that in spite of the fact that it fucks with my life big time. It is to my deficit. If she had won, it would have sucked for me on many levels, but I really did want her to win, and
to have to travel with her, you mean, or what?
No, because it just means there's a lot of like QED related work that would then fall to me, and stuff like that. But she's really good at it, and I think she's kind of a natural, and I want her to do it again, because first of all, she'd actually help people. Like, she's the kind of person who, when she sees something broken, she just fixes it. Like, it's not because
that's why you guys got married.
Why Well, I'll tell you what, Christian, that is a good defense mechanism, but we don't have time for a BetterHelp ad today. But
by the way, speaking of Cambry, there are 2 shows in your VIP program that she was kind enough to do with me. A What's My Name show about her dad and her book and all of that. And also a What's My Name show about why she got married. And she's so good. She's such a good speaker. Like you said, she's so lovable and she's so articulate. She's so easy flowing and very, very open.
Thank you.
She did say, no joke. She said, Christian's not going anywhere. I put too much time into him. That's the truth.
That's a paraphrase.
I'm way
she
off.
said she's something like guarding her investment. I guess that's
that is her. That is.
I didn't mean to
her.
say it wrong, guys. Sorry. Right.
It has nothing to do with me and my personal qualities. It's just that I am owned by her, and she will not let someone take her thing.
What's the title she was going for again?
Town council.
Did you ever say that in bed? Like, hey, Mrs. Town Council, you ever get dirty with it yet? Or that would be jinxing it?
Oh, I'm gonna bang my gavel.
My pleasure.
Oh, I need my road paved.
In New York.
I don't know why.
Can you help me set up the chicken, the charity chicken barbecue? Like, I mean, that's literally the level of stuff you're talking about. It's like, I need my road paved. There's a sign that fell over. Can somebody get that fixed? Like, that's the level of.
Can you get that sign for me?
Yeah. Can you turn around? I want to check out.
Highway.
I want to check out the sanitation department.
Yeah. You're talking about the butt.
Hello. Here in New York City, only 1/4 of people that could vote voted.
Yeah.
Is that higher than usual?
It's the same.
It does really fucking suck. Nobody seemed to understand that there were 5 ballot initiatives on the ballot this year.
And no joke, one was clean water and clean air. Like, I didn't know everything was bipolar.
Yeah. No, and all the early voting stuff lost because all the Republicans came out and voted and none of the Democrats did. So like they were going to mandate 2 weeks of early voting throughout New York State. That lost because people didn't fucking vote. I mean, we bring it on ourselves.
Yeah.
By not being engaged.
On the boroughs, Staten Island had the highest turnout in early voting. And let's see, with 31%. The Bronx was last with 15%.
Yeah.
We have Bianca coming in on Monday, and she was like, she's hearing the shows this week, so she could do last week on Keith and the Girl.
Who is?
And she, Bianca Brady, our last week on Keith and the Girl person who had to take some time off and is coming back on Monday for a little trip with us. And I knew that I could not vote and talk to her on Monday with with ease or with comfort. So I was sick that day, and then I remembered like at 7 when I'm sick, I don't look at my schedule, and I kind of fogged out of it. And 7:00, 7:30, I was like, oh shit, they close at 9. Goodbye.
So you went.
Yeah, I got a sticker and an extra sticker in case I lose my first one, in case Bianca asks. It's a lot of pressure, but I voted for clean water. I know that shocked some people, and whatever else she told me to do. President Biden's private sector COVID-19 vaccine mandate will take effect January 4th. Fines up to $14,000 per infraction for employers. Okay.
Of which kind of employers?
Their employers. So if I find out one of your employees doesn't have it, I can find you $14,000.
I think it's any company with more than 100 employees.
Yes. 100 or more employees will require all workers to get their final vaccine dose by the deadline or submit a weekly testing and mask wearing requirement.
Wow. Okay.
I love it.
I mean, I wish it had come down the second vaccines were available. I mean, I worry at this point the die is so cast with people being fucking like it's. I feel like you have to. I wish they had maybe a shock and awe sort of vibe. Like, we have a vaccine, everybody has to take it. Period. And just had people be like, what the fuck? And then had like 1 week of consternation, as opposed to spending 4 months begging people and then coming out with a mandate, you know?
And then now it's something that can be even debated. You know, people ask us when we do this, virtually now. And people say, when are you gonna have a studio again, and have people in person? And I don't know yet, because I'm waiting for another variant or new rules. That's not crazy to think something nuts is about to happen. And I just signed a lease for another studio, which we got burnt on our last one over the virus. But at the same time, maybe it's okay to think the world is going to open up, because you can't, like you're saying, put this snake back in the can. The America's not going to take it. Like, oh, now you have a new plan no, you already let us go this stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's not going to be another lockdown. Even if there is another variant, there won't be, because first of all, there's no more money coming. Like, there's not going to be any more help coming, and companies won't allow it. Just in people's nature won't allow it. I mean, unless literally it's some, Ebola type plague where people are vomiting up their internal organs on the street. There are vaccines. People are going to continue to get COVID, but hopefully, if you're fully vaccinated, it'll be a bummer, but not a death sentence. And people are going to have to just adjust to that. And I think
said from the beginning, I was thinking it would sort of be great if COVID showed on your face, like in terms of a rash or something that people do stay home for. They don't stay home for regular coughing, sneezing, throwing up, infecting other people. They do stay home if they have like 3 zits on their forehead. Like we don't want to go out and be seen if, it's actually showing on our skin. And we also get more grossed out because it's on the outside. Now I can see this disease. Now I'm scared. It's like you said earlier, you wish the doctor told you, but he was telling you. We're always telling each other, like, eat healthier, obviously, duh.
Don't come in if you're sick, like all these things. But yeah, unless you can see it, unless I can see the disease on your face.
Right. How do you deal with going out and interacting with the world?
I will admit, I'm probably a little more cavalier than other people, simply because I kind of my life sort of has forced me to be, that I'm out doing sets. This is why I've been for fucking hardcore vaccine mandates from the beginning. It's just like, everybody gets fucking vaccinated, and then we live our fucking lives. Like, that's always been, to me, the smartest way to get through this, is vaccinate the fuck out of everybody. And granted, Delta complicated things, but everybody get fucking vaccinated. And if you don't want to get vaccinated, great, but you can't do shit. Like, in the same way that, like, nobody's forcing you to get a driver's license, but you don't get to drive. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't want to get vaccinated? Fine. You can't come into this restaurant. You can't come into this movie theater, et cetera, and so forth. And then we don't need to make fun of people. We don't need to insult people. It's just the way it is. It's just like, nobody like yells about shirts and shoes being a requirement to walk into a restaurant. People accept that as sort of the price of being a citizen. Right. To me, it should be no more controversial than that. Like, sorry, these are the rules. Tough shit. And I was like, I don't want to put these horrible things in my body. All right, well, we now have 7-8 months of evidence. Nobody's turning into a zombie. To the best of my knowledge, the government is not tracking me. So, tough shit.
Well, I'm just thinking out loud, and there's still time, but hopefully this April, I'm comfortable doing a stand-up show again. I'm already thinking, what are the rules? Quite frankly, I think I'd say, yeah, you have to be vaxxed just to put that out into the world. But also, I don't know that I give a fuck, just between us, Christian. Die. And, I don't want you to wear a mask at a concert. That's not fun. And if you feel like you have to wear a mask, then you're confused about what I do, because it's not that fucking important. If you're really concerned that, you might die, but a mask will save you, then don't do it. Billy Joel doing a concert in Madison Square Garden, you gotta be vaxxed and maxed. Well, I don't want to see Piano Man behind a mask with them.
Yeah, that's another thing that's been really hard in terms of venues. I guess a lot of venues, theaters, rock clubs, comedy clubs, they're experiencing a really high cancellation rate right now. People buying tickets and then just not showing up. Which on the one hand, it's like, hey, you got their money, but it's like you're losing out on all the food and beverage and all that, which is really what keeps a lot of places afloat. And I think that it's kind of that same vibe. It's like, I want to go see, oh my God, Billy Joel or whomever is playing. I'm going to buy a ticket. And then when you actually think about what's going to be required of you, it's like, do I really want to just sit in an entire fucking mask for 3 hours just to hear I go to extremes? No, I'm just gonna hang out. I'm just gonna.
I
stay
don't
home.
have to go to extremes.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We were just talking yesterday, not with Keith, about KATG week coming and whether we do it virtual or in person or maybe a mix. But I was thinking we can't do your stand-up unless it's in person. And I would be fully comfortable requiring masks.
I don't hear any laughs on his CDs, so why would it matter if it was virtual?
Let me tell you how cool I was with your mediocre album just now, Christian. Okay. But I didn't see it. You have to see it. You got the wrong version. That's what he tells everybody. You didn't hear it where it really goes into
Oh yeah, the other version I kill. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Everybody tell me I watched Squid Game the wrong way.
You have to watch it with emotions in your heart.
Right.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
So I was thinking, I would be comfortable if the venue mandates vaccines, because I'm not checking, and no masks, because like you said, it's just
that's the way the clubs are. That's the way comedy clubs are now. So by April, barring any catastrophe, it'll be even better.
I don't want to see you pretending you're drinking a drink just so you can have your mask off. Like we all know the tricks. Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah. You're in here and we're ready to party. Let's party.
I never know when this soda is going to go in my mouth. I have to have it off.
I think it's one of those things where if you've now kind of cocooned yourself and you haven't sort of reintegrated, like I've been sort of forced to get over that because I'm doing shows and whatnot. And so maybe I'm a little cavalier, but on the upside, I don't really have that same feeling of like, what am I allowed to do? Like, I basically know how to live in this current environment.
Yeah, I'm combating myself at this point.
Yes.
Like Xerxes and I look at each other like, is this what we're doing? And it's like, well, yeah, we already went to this place. Why are we still hesitating? And we have to actually get used to coming out into the world. And I think we're fine now, as long as
the numbers in New York. I think the
New Yorkers are behaving
0.9%. 0.9. Like that's so incredibly low. It's and again, you don't want to get super cocky. My feeling is like, I think
I'm vaxxed. I get to be cocky. I'm protected. I believe that I am protected. That doesn't mean that, like, I still wear a mask in the supermarket because nobody's checking for vaccine. And I'm just like, maybe I don't understand this mask thing, but let me just wear a mask at Key Food.
My rule is I will wear a mask anywhere where people have to be, regardless of choice. Do you know what I mean? Like the subways. People have to take the subway.
Exactly.
So I'm going to wear a mask. Do you know what I mean? But anything first of all, anything that it's a personal choice, they should have a mask mandate, or I'm sorry, a vax mandate. And if everybody in the room has had their vaccination checked, which it's not really that hard. It takes 10 seconds. We do it at QED. Most everybody, you have that Excelsior pass on your phone or whatever.
Plus you have to check IDs at the door for most places.
It's about 10 seconds more work.
By the way, do we know the asshole that made the vaccination card that it won't even fit in the European wallet?
I know.
Half of mine is all torn up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good anymore. Oh, well. Let me leave you with a fun Hollywood story, and you guys tell me what you think, because I'm not sure how I feel. All right. It's about the great Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec, Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't know what the great Chris Pratt cracks me up. National icon, Chris Pratt.
So he puts out a picture of him and his wife, his new wife, and his wife is staring at him while Chris Pratt looks right at the screen. We'll put these up on the website. Okay. And he writes, guys, for real, look how she's looking at me. I mean, find you somebody that looks at you like that, We met in church. She's given me an amazing life, a gorgeous, healthy daughter. She chews so loudly that sometimes I put in my earbuds to drown it out. But that's love. She helps me with everything. In return, periodically, I open a jar of pickles. That's the trade. Her heart is pure and it belongs to me. My greatest treasure right next to my Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card, which, if you know, is saying a lot. It's her birthday in about 6 weeks. So if I don't get her anything, I'll tell her to look back on this post. Love you, honey. Heart, heart.
Oh, Chris Pratt is basic. Congrats. You're a celebrity basic.
Now,
I have never understood the appeal of that dude. Like, I was not a Parks and Rec fan, and so I don't have any sort of attachment to him as like this guy was on a show that I loved. I never watched it. I'm not like I don't like it. I just never watched that show. And so when he kind of became like an above the title star, I just, it was kind of a head scratch to me. It was like Chris O'Donnell. Remember that dude? It was just like, what? This guy's just a.
Well, I thought he got there because like Parks and Rec, he was this kind of schlubby guy, and then all of a sudden he's a superhero. That's like the everyman becoming, like a hot stud or whatever.
No joke, like Chris O'Donnell. Once you're a superhero, you're next level.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm the one doing that. You guys are.
But
you're making that happen.
Yeah, not me. Not me. Don't blame me. I voted for Mondale. No, so that was a big. There was a big bumper sticker when I was growing up. Don't blame me. I'm from Massachusetts, because that was the only state to not vote for Nixon.
So
Keith, I heard the word pure and church, and is that what you're alluding to?
And it looks like a Cialis ad. The picture.
I wouldn't have known this it does look like a Cialis ad. I wouldn't have known this if I didn't read about it on the internet. I don't follow the Pratts per se, but the uproar, and there is one, is that he said about, let's see, she's given me an amazing life, a gorgeous, healthy daughter. It's people are offended because he has a baby with Anna Faris that was born not healthy, premature, mental problems. The kid has to deal with all this. Is Chris Pratt, here's my question, just so stupid? And he is the dorky guy in Parks, and he is the dummy in Guardians. He's a dummy in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's an egotist dummy. Is this the real him, and he doesn't know why that would come off bad? Or can't you just say you have a healthy, beautiful daughter? It's pretty stupid to me.
But his daughter, his first daughter is like has legitimate health problems.
Yes. The reason people are calling out Pratt's choice of words is because his son with Anna Faris, Jack, was born 9 weeks premature and had to spend several weeks in the ICU before he was able to go home. In her book Unqualified, Faris opened up saying, the pediatric neurosurgeon sat Chris and me down, telling us that Jack had severe brain bleeding, and there's a chance that he's going to be developmentally disabled. Over, let's see.
Is he developmentally disabled?
Yeah, he's still having problems. Yeah, let's see. He has a heart problem. He has visual impairments, and something's still going on with the wires in his brain.
Yeah, that is weird phrasing, and I don't think it's like, oh my God, torches and pitchforks time. But that is a pretty like, it's kind of a gross. I don't know. It's kind of a little weird.
Can't we let this pass? Like we can't let anything pass.
I don't let it pass.
I don't care.
I mean, as a people, this has obviously come into like, you showed us the piece of paper, you circled this. So,
right.
I feel like, yes, everyone's right. Yes,
I do like to know how to feel about my superheroes, and that's why I'm asking you.
I don't know. He memorizes lines. I don't know.
Right. You can tell nobody wrote this for him. I believe he did write this.
Yeah. And he's trying to say something nice about this person that he's with. And he's kind of a cheeseball. And they met at church. Okay. Was it the church that all the celebrities go to and the people who want to meet them go to?
Bieber goes to.
All right, okay. That's not really church, but okay. Like I can dissect the shit out of everybody's post. At the end of the day, let his woman enjoy it, and maybe
Arnold
he's a
Schwarzenegger's
douche.
Daughter.
Whatever. Oh, well then, fuck everyone. I don't know.
It's like, where does that fit in? Yeah, right. What do I do with that information?
I wonder if when they have sex, she's like,
That's where it fits. There you go.
You got it in. You got it in.
It's in there.
He actually crossed the checkbox off. And finally, it was getting close to the end of the year, and got it in. It's just weird that Chris wrote when the first baby was born, and we have a daughter. Yeah, and here's our son, Shrug.
I think it was weird that he's like a healthy daughter, unlike some people.
Right. That make different babies. I mean,
and you know what? The public actually made it worse because this could have just been another post from somebody's father about their new whatever, you know, but now it's news and they can look back on it.
But also, I think we really watered down the word outrage. Like people aren't outraged. People are just tweeting shit.
Yeah, it'll be done in 2 days, right?
Yeah, Chris Pratt said this shit. I'm on, and it's a cliche, but I'm on the toilet and I have some funny joke about it. And a lot of it is just like, it has nothing to do with Chris Pratt. It's like, I want to advertise to the people who follow me how funny or astute or judgmental or whatever I am. And I'm using Chris Pratt purely as fodder. I don't really give two fucks about Chris Pratt, but I'm performing for my own followers. And the way I do that is by saying, like, look at this asshole.
Yeah. And I'm using you guys with being like, you guys care about this? Let me tell you what's funny about not caring about it.
Yes. We're all
assholes.
Well, I'm always curious about the behind the scenes stuff, especially when it comes to relationships. Me asking Christian about, the jokes in the stand-up compared to real life. I'm curious now what happens in the Pratt family. Now, again, when I say curious, I'll be done by 7 p.m. But right now I'm curious what happens when everybody's getting tagged, and that is the biggest thing going on in their world at the time. And they have to, Chris goes, no, fuck them. It stays up. Beautiful, healthy daughter. I don't care how Anna's feeling. I don't care how the son is feeling. He doesn't live with us. I don't care. Like, now keeping it up is a point. He doesn't want to look like a simp. I think that's funny.
Well, and honestly, to take it down would be making a statement all of its own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And also, he just wrote a book, considering. So that's a lot to hit the delete button on.
I would add to it and go, and he's cool too.
And and also I'm a big fan of gimpies.
Also, all babies are beautiful. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming out next year. Right.
I like that he wrote something nice about one of his kids and his partner, and everybody else was like, "You got a bad one too, buddy." We
I didn't know that. Yeah,
doesn't sound like you did. Hey, you got an unhealthy one. You probably don't want that one, do you? It's everybody else pointing it out. What the fuck?
I wonder, like, he should have like a Patreon account where he runs his posts by like a group of people that paid money to check it out. And they're like, hey, don't forget you have an unhealthy baby. And he's like, oh, good to know. I do have an unhealthy baby.
That wouldn't be a bad, like, I'm surprised that it hasn't become a career yet. Like, let me be your tweet editor. Like,
it's called PR. They just won't allow it.
I know, but I'm saying it seems like it could be like a much, like a PR firm is a much more elaborate thing. Like, just a much more simple thing. Like, send it to me. I'll take 30 seconds to look at it, make sure you're not being a fucking idiot, and then you hit send. Like, that's something you could do, like, without having to hire a giant PR firm.
It's also simple
young entrepreneurs out there.
It's also easy to believe that the public can start a fight in a couple. Like, they had no problem with it, and then the public's telling somebody there is a problem, and the wife is like, take it down, and he's like, it says I love you and your birthday's in 6 fucking weeks. Heart. There's nothing bad about it.
Did she tell him to take it down?
No, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Okay. I'm just picturing where it can go. What celebrity couple doesn't say there's a challenge because of the public's input? It's like, no, that's for you, and that's your birthday present. Happy fucking birthday. And then when the birthday comes and he gives a present, he's got to debate, like, do I post and you got a present? They didn't get you 2 cars for nothing. How do we post this? Let's have our neighbor post it.
Next time that if that kid ever gets like the flu or the measles or whatever, we're like, oh, looks like this wife sucks too.
Hey, this one's unhealthy too now. Are you still glad?
3rd time's a charm, I hope.
All right. So here's what you do. If you can't find Christian in My Wet Dreams, go to Show Your Work, the stand-up special.
Yeah, you can just go to my website. I have a newly redone website, and you can click on it and it'll bring up all the platforms it's available on.
Oh, is that what you could have written? And that's what Keith would have read just now? That's interesting. The part where he's figuring your shit out.
Instead, he wrote
already.
The worst.
Instead, he wrote, "Take the ring, Frodo, and make sure that nothing affects the land." Again, like, Christian, how does that help?
I didn't write that.
All right, no, you did not, Christian. That's true. That was an exaggeration. You wrote "Destroyer of Worlds."
That was gonna be funny.
What's the website, Christian? You say it. He doesn't know it. That's why he didn't write
Keith's hairlessballs.org.
Is this how we promote? Is this what we want to do?
It really
oh my God. The kindergarten teacher just really came out and you're like, is this how we promote? Is this how we promote?
You go to ChristianFinnegan.com. You'll see
ChristianFinnegan.com. Yes.
Right. Everybody also don't forget, check out our Kickstarter today. Go there right now. KeithAndTheGirl.com/kick. It's up. And also we'll see you tomorrow on the Keith and the Girl YouTube channel for a new premiere video. Plus, get your tickets for tomorrow's Silent Trailers production meeting, KeithAndTheGirl.com/tickets. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Christian, good seeing you.
Thanks, kiddos. I in all seriousness, I haven't seen you guys in a long time, and I thank you for having me on.
Oh, in all
You're expecting a joke there. There's no joke.
Yeah. No, we were getting all serious.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I'm dying, by the way. So this might be the last time we speak. KeithAndTheGirl.com